Greetings everyone, my name is Dominic and today you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. But today we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. Today we're going to be talking about how do you organize your single issue comic books. And now, longer-term viewers of this channel might be immediately flagging this, saying, hey, I thought you only do collected editions. Yes, I primarily collect comic book collected editions, paperbacks, hardcovers, things like that. But over the years, I have acquired a couple single-issue comic books. Nothing too crazy, and yet I'm already filling a bit of a short box, and I want to display or figure out what to do with them. And to that end, I was actually approached by Comic Capsule, the company that makes, well, Comic Capsules. They're a way to basically store single issue comic books that I think are pretty cool. They gave me a few of their products for free in exchange for this honest review. Bear with me because I feel like fans of comic book single issues might have something to take out of this. But even as I show you the comic capsule, I'll also show you the other short box, the thing I kind of store my single issues in for now, and just some of my single issue collection. I'll flip through, kind of show you a couple things. So if you're interested in that, we're going to do a little bit of a tour of some of my single issues and just get a little bit insight into that part of my collection. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first, here's my little short box I ordered from Amazon. I didn't want to go for the kind of rigid, standard cardboard fare you'll see sold around or at local comic shops. I wanted something a little more subtle that I can tuck in my closet or somewhere in my room that is a little out of the way, but I thought looked a little nice, maybe didn't immediately give away what it was. And I really like this little fabric guy. It has Velcro that kind of opens up the top, it has little handles, a little viewer window that you can put a label in. But this is where I put my single issues for some time. You can see as I'm flipping through, but I really like it. It's the perfect size for me. It fits really nice in my closet, and overall I've had no complaints for this, but I have noticed that with a couple of my issues, I want to actually kind of preserve them a little better or display them even. And I will say again, I'm not really a single issue comic collector. A lot of these issues I got for free comic book day or kind of events, or I won giveaways online. A couple I got as gifts, or I've kind of picked up here and there. As you can see, this is not an extensive single issue comic book collection by any means, but like I said, it's just what I have. It's kind of a little novelty, and it's kind of like the side wing of my main collection. I don't really read these comics either. I usually save that for my collected editions. But yeah, this is what I have here, just kind of flipping through again. You can just see a couple titles. I think I also did a video with my single issue comic collection once upon a time on the channel. I probably have more than when I first recorded that, but I did do a video on that if you'd like to see a bit more on the channel for this. Okay, and I think that's enough flipping through for now. Let's go ahead and get to the comic capsules I got from the people at Comic Capsules. Again, a huge thank you to those guys. All they wanted was an honest review of their product in exchange for a few freebies. So let's go ahead and take a look and get this opened. Okay, now here's how the capsules were delivered to my door. I'm not sure if this is indicative of if you make a full order through them, what you can expect, but for my purposes, this cardboard box shielded them really good. These were all in perfect condition as I made my way through. They did provide me with 4 comic capsules, which I was really excited to see. I received 2 of their black comic capsules and 2 of their clear. And you'll get to see the differences. I'll go ahead and showcase what they look like, some of their advantages, or what you might want as a collector, but really like their design right from the jump. I was pretty impressed by this. Now again, I'm by no means an expert. You've seen how I've stored most of my issues for some time, some in bag and board, all really in that little short box, but I've wanted to display some. I know that some people use top loaders. I've seen some of that product online. I have no experience with that myself, but those appear to be a lot more flimsy and kind of just have an ever open top you can slide your bag and board in. This thing actually seals up, and it's a lot more rigid. It's really it kind of reminds me of graded comics or slabbed books. I have 1 or 2 of those that I'll show maybe to compare later in this video, but it reminds me more of that. It's more of a hard shell. It is UV protected kind of plastic, which is really cool as well for longer term collectors who maybe have this near a window. It is UV protected, which is great for the issues. The design of them also have an ability where they kind of stack on top of each other, so they could be stacked really nicely, which I really love just based on their design. design. The size is also perfect to fit in your standard short box. It actually fits in my little short box, which is nice. If I decided not to display them, just to preserve them, they fit in a conventional short box. Now, these comic capsules are sized for modern sized issues with a bag and board, or like a Silver Age issue just straight up raw in these things. I think that they can play around with sizing. I'm not really sure. You might want to reach out to those guys, see if you have more custom needs. But these standard comic capsules, again, are rated for modern comics with bags and boards, or Silver Age just raw straight in there. So as I continue to open these up, I'll go ahead and show you the black and the clear. I'll show you how these things can stack like I've been mentioning, but I want to talk about a couple other features I was really excited about. Most notably, they have a little feature like at the back of a kind of a picture frame where you can basically have a nail in the wall and hang these things directly on a wall. Really love to see that. I think it's perfect for display without really needing any kind of extra equipment or ways to kind of put up a comic. And I think that you could have a whole wall of these really easily just by measuring where you want to put a nail and just hanging these things right on the wall. And as we do a couple more of these bird's eye shots, you can see the difference really clearly between the black and the clear variety. The black have a black top and a black back. The clear you can see straight through, and the top of it is also clear. I think there's room at the top of these comic capsules to add your own label if you want to print a label and just slap it on the top. I think that's really fun as well for people that are archiving these, or maybe have them in those short boxes for quick access. You can kind of see what you're working with. I think that this is also a great opportunity for those really good prestige books you have that you maybe don't want to hassle with getting graded, or you want to be able to actually read the issue yourself. It's a great way to have them protected, preserved, maybe for display, but you can also take the issue out to do with what you want at a future time, whether that's reading, trading the book, going to eventually get it graded. I think that this is a really great way to kind of protect your books in the meantime. And I will say, as I'm continuing to showcase these, I knew about Comic Capsule because I actually saw other social media people and YouTubers review this product. I saw some ads for them online, and I was actually considering becoming a customer myself when they went ahead and reached out to me in general. And I was really elated because this was a product I was already curious about as a consumer, namely because I don't have a ton of comic book single issues, but the few I do have, there were some I wanted to maybe get up on my wall or to protect in a greater degree. And honestly, the idea of sending something for maybe pressing or grading kind of terrifies me a little bit. I think it's more involved than I want to deal with as a collected edition guy. But something like this really helps me cut a few of those corners and still have a really nicely preserved and way to display these books. Here's a quick look at some of the paperwork that came with these comic capsules. They have some kind of basic instructions how to use it. I also want to go ahead and show you how these capsules size up in your standard kind of short box here. I'll use my little fabric one I showed you earlier in the video, just so you can get an idea that really these do fit extraordinarily nicely. And then I think after that, I do want to demonstrate how these things actually work, the kind of ease of use here, and how I plan to kind of get these things used in my own collection, because I just want to show you what these things look like. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of this fabric short box I've had. I think it's a great way to kind of keep my comics out of sight, especially for me. I don't have a huge collection, but I wanted to show you another way I think it would be fun to store these books using this comic capsule. Okay, so without further ado, here we go. In no particular order, I have two Daredevil issues from the Zdarsky run that I won in a giveaway. I also have a signed Junkyard Joe issue variant from Jeff Johns I got for doing an early look at that series over at Image. Really do recommend the Unnamed Universe. Jeff Johns is doing some amazing stuff. Huge fan of his. I also have an issue of The Dark Knight Returns as well. I'll try to get all of these into these comic capsules. You just kind of pop the top. It's really simple. Like I said, it feels very sturdy and it's really easy to pop it open and close. Slide it in with that bag and board. Like I said, for these modern issues, they go in quite nicely if you have just your standard size bag and board. I have no issues with that. I don't have any Silver Age issues to show you for that sizing for this with the raw issues, but for modern with bag and board, I had no complaints here. Really, really smooth, and really, really liked how easy these things just snapped open and closed, and I think it looks really great. And when I have them all sealed up, we'll just do a couple shots showing you how these things look. Like I said, the plastic they use is UV protected or UV resistant, which I like. I think that means if you have it by an open window, it's not going to fade your issues over time too bad or anything like that. I will say they do have kind of a glare, so just be aware where you position them so they aren't super reflective. I think when I'm holding these, you can absolutely see the issues great. And I think if you keep them out of like a direct light source, you're not really going to have a problem of not being able to see the issues, because I think that the actual comic capsule themselves are crystal clear. I have no complaints here. Obviously the clear is nice because you can see the back, but if you have a bag and board, the board in the bag is not too exciting, but maybe if you put in a raw issue, you can actually see the back of the issue from your comic capsule. I think that would be pretty novel. But the black also looks really sleek because it really punches out the actual issue itself against that stark black background. And just another quick look again, like I said, at all of my comic capsule books here. I really, really like how these look in both the clear and the black. I think that these are, like I said, are really well made. I love how rigid they are. My books feel extraordinarily protected. They went in super smooth, and I couldn't be happier with how these things actually look. I don't know that I would do this for every issue, but some of mine that I want to keep a little bit nicer, I think that this is a really good way to go to store these issues, to display these issues, things like that. I'll go ahead and show you how these look stacked as well. Like I said, you can keep them in a pile, you can put them in your short box, all lined up nice together. There's so many things I can do with these, and I'm really excited to have a couple for myself. And just for comparison, like I said at the beginning of the video, let's look at them next to a graded comic book. I have a book here from, I think, CBCS, one of the main graders, whether it's this or CGC, what have you. Your graded comics are a bit bigger, they're bulkier, they don't fit in a short box, but just to do a bit of a size comparison for scale so you can see. Yeah, so there we are. There's our little bit of a size comparison. I love that they're both rigid, whether you go graded or you do something like Comic Capsule. It's a great way to preserve these issues, like I said, at least in my mind. And now I just want to show the functionality of hanging these things on a wall. I'll just use one of the bare walls in my apartment just for an example. I did go ahead and hammer in a nail already, but I'll go ahead and hang up my Junkyard Joe issue I had, again, signed by Jeff Johns. Really stoked for that. Just to see what it looks like on the wall. It really is that simple. It has, like I said, a little bit of like a back hook inlet, kind of like a picture frame would, and it's a great way. Just hammer in a nail and just put these things right on your wall. If you get a couple of them, you can line them up however you want, but really there's no fuss here. It was really easy to get this thing on a wall, and it's really easy to display. Now, whether you use the comic capsules or some kind of short box, these are just a couple ways I'm storing my single issues nowadays. I hope if you're interested in Comic Capsule, you'll check out their website. And in the comments, let me know, how do you store your single issue comic books? Are you a single issue collector? Would love to hear all about that. And next video will probably be back to collected editions, but thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this has been the Comic Book Report. Please don't forget to leave your like, your comment, and maybe check out another video on your way out. Thank you so much. Bye.